Hello, everybody. I am coming to you live today. It is Wednesday. Golly day, it is March 15th. Can you believe that? March 15th. Um, but we are here to create today. And my name is Colleen Magnus, creatingwith.colleen.com. I'm a little under the weather today, but I will not complain because I know there are others that are more worse off than I am. But I got a little bit of a scratchy throat. I'll pray I won't get a tickle. And I was a little tired, but I actually got to lay in the recliner yesterday with a blanket, watch some TV. It was a guilty pleasure. But, oh. So I just want to welcome y'all coming on. Kathy is done with the snow. Oh my goodness, Kathy, you guys are getting slammed. I bet you are. Yes, so just try to stay warm most of all. It's like low 50s here. It's great. And I will feel better. Again, I feel okay, a little tired, sound worse than I am, so I will definitely take it. So Judith, glad you're here. And Barb, I'll be better by the time you guys come to stamp on Tuesday. And you just got that set. Good, good. Hi, Diane. Oh gosh, so now you got to get it, the stamp set. Yes, I have to say, when I first looked at this set, I wasn't really sure about the silhouette of Jesus, but I knew that I loved the dove and the sayings and the palm, but I have grown to like him, and I'm going to color him in a way that shows you how to mute the colors. So he's a little bit softer, and then you'll like him even more. So again, welcome. My name is Colleen Magnus. I'm on the East Coast in Chesapeake, Virginia, and I come to you live every Wednesday at noon Eastern time. So you guys can take a break in the middle of your busy day, and we can create. Hey, Miss Sandy, glad you're here. Hey, Renee. I'm so thankful you gals joined me. So we are going to get started, but I am using the Rejoice in Him stamp set, and that is actually on page 54 of your mini catalog. And they even show it with the fancy Flora designer series paper. And I have to admit, I think it goes great with this set. So the fancy Flora designer paper, it's a 6x6 pack, and that is on page 15 of your mini catalog. And it has, to me, a lot of the beautiful Easter colors in here, but yet it looks like oil painting. Just the texture is amazing. So this, I have used some of the sheets, but you can see how pretty it is. Great background, beautiful. Again, just looks like oil painting, which by the way, I tried oil painting once before, and it's tricky. I was doing an apple, and you work on it for like an hour to get it just the way you want it, and one wrong brush stroke and it turns into a ball, and you got to start all over again. But you have these beautiful designs on this side, and then again, awesome colors over here. Hey, Diane. I know you're probably hanging out being warm in sunny Florida. So with the fancy Flora designer paper, I'm using the Painted Textures embossing folder. And this folder, I think, was made for that designer paper because it's just a beautiful texture that goes really well with it. So we're going to get started. Let me show you the card we're making today. So this is our card that we are using, and it uses some of the current in colors. We have the Orchid Oasis and Fresh Freesia. They're the stars of the show. But again, I'm going to show you how to color on vellum to make that a lot softer. So this will be our card, and we'll go ahead and get started. You are going to need a piece of Orchid Oasis that is 5.5 by 8.5, and you are going to score it at 4 1/4. And if y'all don't mind, I'm going to pop in a cough drop just in case, because you know if you get one of those tickles in your throat, it's all over with. Y'all would just have to talk amongst yourselves. And I'll try not to let you hear me sucking on it. So Tepper, welcome from Minnesota. Oh, it's only 57 in Florida right now. Chilly for you gals. But still not bad. Hey, Ellen, I hope you're doing great. So 5.5 by 8.5. Going to score it at 4 1/4. That's our card base. Then with the Fresh Freesia, I emboss this with the Painted Texture 3D. This is 4 by 5 1/4. And I will have these on my blog. I took pictures of the measurements. I'm trying to filter everything to my blog. And then I'll put the link on my Creating with Colleen Facebook page. But everything I do is Creating with Colleen. Even my YouTube channel and my blog right there. So we have that piece. And then for the inside, you have basic white 4 by 5 1/4. Now, what I like about this layout with these pieces here, a lot of times my go-to card when I'm using 6x6 designer series paper is I'll take a 2-inch strip and I'll just put it down the side. So then I'm going to get 3 pieces out of my 6x6 paper, which will give me 12 cards. And I was thinking, oh, that's really good to get the most out of my 6x6 paper. But I needed more than that. So what I did here, this is 1.5 inches wide. And of course, 1.5 by 6, I'm now going to get 4 strips out of my 6x6 designer paper. So now I can get 16 cards. So that's why I kind of like doing this. I think it fills the page, but at the same time, I'm going to get more bang for my buck out of my designer paper. So with saying that, I'm just going to try to slide these over here. I'll need a 1 3/4 by 3 1/4 piece of orchid cardstock, and I'm going to cut a 1.5 by 3 inch piece of fancy Flora designer paper to go on there. Here I've got a 1 3/4 by 2 3/4 Orchid Oasis, 1.5 by 2.5 fancy Flora. Those will go on top of each other. Now when I've already stamped this. This is cardstock vellum. And the nice thing is you can color on it, but you want to color from behind. So I'm going to show you that, and then you get a more muted, softer look as opposed to just coloring on white cardstock. So this is 2 inches by 2.5, and you do need to stamp that with Stays On Black ink. The Memento ink won't dry. That is great for your blends, but it's really not going to dry well on a non-porous surface, which is what this cardstock vellum is. So use your black Stays On. Then I have the exact same size in the basic white, 2 by 2.5. And then I have the matte for all of that, which is 2 1/4 by 2 3/4 of the Orchid Oasis. So let's put this card together. And get all my little pieces taken care of first. I'm going to take my card base. And I did already emboss this with a Painted Textures embossing folder. And either side looks great. You know, sometimes you get a folder that you can use both sides. Sometimes not so much, but I'd say 9 times out of 10 you can. So just look at it. If you want more of a raised type image, then use that. This one's a little more indented. And since it is textured like this, I want to use my liquid glue. Make sure it holds well. Although I will say the Stampin' Seal is pretty amazing. It holds well also. So Patty jumped in, Steph jumped in. Kathy, I love this folder too. It really is a nice folder that goes with everything. Gwen is here. So I'm going to take the 2 larger pieces, that 1 3/4 by 3 1/4 of the Orchid Oasis. And I'm just going to layer these pieces on here. And I kept it simple on y'all today. I did just a 1/4 inch edge. I didn't pull any 1/8 or 16ths today. I really like the colors to all stick out and be the star of the show on their own. So we have that. And then I'm just going to put them on here however I want. I'm probably going to put a little more of the color on the top and the bottom because I'll have my main picture in the middle. So I'll get a little more of that color in there. So again, just take my Tombow liquid glue, put it up here. So y'all know Easter is April 9th. It's going to be here before you know it. because I just can't believe how fast time goes. But don't forget, we have St. Patty's Day Friday. I hope y'all are going to be eating your corned beef like I am. I am Irish by nature. I am actually 3/4 Irish, 1/4 Italian. One day I hope to get to Ireland. It's on my bucket list. I hear it's beautiful. So keep in mind, this is just a great layout for anything you have, and you could put something in the middle. 1.5 inch by 6. So you're going to get 4 of them out of a 6 by 6 piece of paper, and you have that color on both sides. So it really come together. Now for Jesus, again, I went ahead and colored, stamped him in black StazOn, but I'm going to color him from behind. So I don't know if y'all know, they kind of get lost in the catalog. On page 128 down here, we have the Natural Tones Stamping Blends. And they're a little bit different than the regular blends. When you order a 2-pack of blends, they are like a light and a dark. These are more like tones. It is kind of a light and a dark, but they don't actually call them that for the color. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different shades that you can get, and it's called Natural Tones Stamping Blends, and it goes everything from light to deep. And you can see a better picture of the colors here. But it's great for flesh tones or for coloring natural things on your cards. Let me see. Oh my goodness, Sandy's going to have a feast on Friday with 12 people. I hope everybody's bringing a dish, Sandy. Keep it simple. So I'm just going to take this, actually, they number them, excuse me, SU 800, and this is like an SU 900, so let's see what we get. But I always like using the broad end. You just have to go very light with your tips. So that was pretty light. Let me see if this one's a little darker. Just a little bit. And the thing of it is, I'll color a little bit more, and then I'll show you, backing it on the side. You can see a little bit of shade there. Now this I am taking, this is the light Highland Heather. So I'm just going to come in here. A lot of times when I do my blends, I color the whole thing with a light color, and then I can come back in and shade with the dark. Let me come up here. But if you have a light hand, definitely it's great to use the broad end. Now I'll take the dark end, and I'm not going to worry about blending them so much because I have all these great creases in his scarf here. Put a couple up here on the top. Oh, and you know what? I think I better color his neck. And that would be odd. There we go. And one other thing I did, if you actually look, like on the image, see how it's white? There's nothing there. You can either take a black blends, which has been on my list to get, but I haven't gotten it yet. But I do have the Smoky Slate Dark. So I'm going to come in here and color that, and it's just going to soften up his hair, a little bit of a shade, so it's not going to be white. So when you look at this, it looks almost so light, but when you put it up against the white, it makes that color pop. So you could see where it pops, but it's soft. This is one that I actually colored on the cardstock, basic white, so you could see it is a lot darker. And it just depends on what you like. Again, I wanted him to be a little more muted, but the colors are wonderful together. So this would be just straight up on the white, basic white. And then I'm going to tape this on here, but there's always a trick. Vellum is see-through, so a lot of people have a hard time finding out what tape to use. Some have liquid glue. I actually used the Stamp and Seal But when I did it, I put it where there's color, and I made sure that it was flat. Like, you know, sometimes it'll gum up a little bit. No gummies, like there. I don't know if you can see that. It kind of bunched up a little there. So I'm just going to take my nail and smooth it out. And believe it or not, you won't see that. And it's strong enough to where it's going to hold it in place. So I'm just going to put this on here. Just cut it the exact same size. Slide it over. And then I will take this and put it on the 2 1/4 by 2 3/4 Orchid Oasis. Let me see right there. So Sandy said her mother-in-law's corned beef and cabbage and Irish soda bread. Very good. Oh man, your father-in-law grew up in Ireland, so we go all out. Very good, Sandy. I'm actually blessed because Brooke's mom has us over for St. Patty's Day, and she too makes the soda bread. So I think that's pretty cool. And then we host Easter over here at our house. So we kind of work well together. So here I have this. I'm going to put this on with my, man, my mouth is watering thinking about all that awesome food. Let me see if I don't cut my edges. All I have is little ones. So y'all do know, you make sure you, look at that little heart on there, isn't that cute? You make sure that you always trim all the edges to your dimensionals. We do not waste anything in the stamp room. And even though they're not a pretty hexagon shape, they still work great. So I'll just put these on. Nobody sees the back anyways. And I'll pop him up on top. There we go. And that is the first part of our card. Now, of course, it's a standalone stamp set. There are no dies. But I'm going to take the soft succulent and I'm just going to stamp on a piece of scrap white. And then I will take the He Is Risen, and on another piece, I'm going to take the Orchid Oasis and stamp my words. And I love, y'all know that, how everything coordinates with Stampin' Up. That's what, I think that's what's make the cards so complete, is that your ink is going to match, you know, coordinate with your cardstock, the designer papers, they pull it all together for us. And all we got to do is just make a card. They take care of all the colors, which is good because I am color challenged. Now on here, sometimes like you can take a Wink of Stella or something and pull that ink in. But I think another way, I wanted to get it just a little bit deeper. So I'm going to take my soft succulent, squeeze my ink pad, and then when I open it, I've got my ink in the lid. You never want to take an aqua painter or a blending brush and go straight into your pad. You always want to transfer it onto the lid. And then here, this is a blender pen. We used to use these all the time, and then the blends came out and they were kind of forgotten, but they are great. They come 3 to a pack, and never throw them out even when they dry up, because there's techniques you can do with the blender pens. One of them being bleaching. I'll have to show you that sometime. But you're just going to pick up a little bit of the ink, and I'm just kind of coming here and just swooping a little bit of color. I'm not actually coloring these in, but I wanted to just add a little bit more green so that it just wasn't an outline. We used to do a lot of coloring with these, and anybody who's been in Stampin' Up for a while, Steph, you know, Sandy, y'all know this is how we used to color. And these actually work great with our oh my goodness, watercolor pencils. That's how I used to love to color. Still do. So now that I have these, we're just going to fussy cut. Y'all know that's not a problem if you have the best scissors around, which are your paper snips. And when I cut something like this, I'm not going to try to go all the way to the stem. I like to just I do my outside first. Leaving a little bit of an edge, getting close to the tips. So I kind of do the outline. And then what I'll do, I just think it's easier, let me get a little bit thinner there, to then come in and just kind of go in and out of each one. But don't worry about cutting all the way to the stem. I think it'll make it kind of flimsy, and it's a lot more work, tedious work. So I'm just going to keep coming around. I'd sing for you coming around the bend, but boy, would that be a squeaky mess right now. I wouldn't do that to y'all. So I just kind of gave it a rough outline, and if these are too pointy, just give a little snip off there. You get that there. So I have my palms. Yep, Kathy said she used blenders with the pastels too. You're absolutely right, Kathy. They're still a great tool. I'm glad they still carry it. And then we have the He Is Risen. Sometimes, just move your paper and your scissors around. And don't be so hard on yourself. You just kind of want to get a rough shape here. So here we go. See how quick and easy that was. Okay. And then I'll just take my dimensionals again. Here, I got my little ones right here. So I have He Is Risen right down here. And then for my palm, I am going to put Wink of Stella on it, but I can do that no problem once it's on there. I'll put it on here. Oops, I tore the whole thing off. Here we go. Got a little aggressive. All right. And then I want this kind of going on the top. And yes, definitely your Wink of Stella, because you want that to shimmer on the sun. So that is the front. And then for the inside, very simple. I recommend stamping your dove first, because sometimes when you put your words in, you might not have enough room at the top. So here, this is in Fresh Freesia. I'm just going to put my dove. Back to my words, the Orchid Oasis. And I am going to put Celebrate His Love. Celebrate His love. Man, we should do that every day. And share His love to others too. I really believe that could change the world. All right, and then last but not least, we're going to put one more palm in here. And then just come back again, like we just did. And just pull a little more color. Now, if you're wondering, can you use different colors with your blender pens? Of course. The blender pens, it's a clear glycerin. And again, you get 3 to a pack, and you have a tip on each end. So it's like getting 6 of these little pens in one pack. But when you would go to clean it, you would just take a scrap piece of paper. And you don't want to do this, because that's going to break down your tip. So you just want to, there isn't even that much on it really, but you would just lightly kind of turn it and drag it on a piece of paper. And even if it's stained a little bit, it gets that color out of there, and then you just go right to the next color. Yes, Kathy. Thanks, Barb. Good, I've got people out there working for me. Thanks, Barb. Definitely, yeah. The Wink of Stella is like a glitter pen, and it's a great pen because it dries automatically. Now, isn't that funny? Okay, I was going to say I had it right here. Hold on, I just put my finger in the ink pad. Let me close that. That's why you wear jeans. You could just wipe your fingers on your pads. But it is definitely a glitter pen, and it dries instantly. We used to always use Dazzling Diamonds, and that was great, but it could be just a bit of a mess. And you don't really see it in the video, but in person, it works great. And just so you know, when it does come, like in between here, between the base and this piece here, there's like a black ring. You want to open it up and take that ring out because that's kind of what kept it from piercing the barrel. Take the ring out, squeeze it all the way down, and here it'll say push. So you want to shake it, push a little, shake it, push a little, and you'll see it coming down here into this part of the barrel, and then it'll come out the tip. But you have to take that little black ring out first. You know, it's crazy. I don't think it gives you directions for that. Some people might be using it thinking it's not that great, but you're just not getting the fluid that's inside. So now that I have this, I'll open my card, and I'll be thankful I have 2 Easter cards made. Actually running ahead of the game. So I do want to ask you, I'll just kind of lay this here. This is the one I made. So this is, both of these are done on the cardstock vellum. So if I was to just, let me put this in here. Y'all give a shout out to if you have a preference for coloring on the basic white or coloring on the cardstock vellum where it just makes it a little softer. That's your basic white. But Kathy, I love the colors too, and I don't think you can go wrong with either one. One's just a little more bold than the other. So there's always a delay. I'll give you a minute just to shout out. We've got, okay, vellum, vellum, vellum. Barb says they're both beautiful. Very good. And you can do that, you know, with anything with a vellum. Just always color from behind. But I just wanted to give you a few tips and tricks today on getting the most of your designer paper and also using the vellum. And I just appreciate y'all being here. So let me uncover that. If you're placing an order and it's less than $150, please use the March host code, and you can go to mycreatingwithcolleen.com and click shop now and do all your shopping there. You can also request my newsletter, and again, I'll take a picture of all the dimensions I already have, and I'm going to put them on my creatingwithcolleen.com blog, but I will put a link for my Creating with Colleen Facebook page. Since I used to post there, that'll take you there. So Barb, yes, I'll feel better. Actually, I feel better today than yesterday, so all is well. And praise God, didn't have a tickle in my throat, so we are good. And I'm just going to stay in the stamp room and create today. I hope you all do something creative too. So take care. I will see you next week as we're going to create with the new border dies that are on the online exclusives. And also with the Dainty Delight bundle. Excuse me. This is a bundle. Let me show it to you. The dies have been on back order. So they are in. I typically don't like to show anything unless you're able to purchase it. It's really kind of unfair to say, oh, look at this. Isn't it nice? Sorry, you can't buy it. But the dies are in. So if you've been waiting for the Dainty Delight bundle, you can shop and get those together now. And that's what we'll be creating with the new border dies next week. So I hope y'all all come back and join me then. And until then, I hope you stay safe. And I hope you do something creative today. In fact, all week long. So Gwen just ordered the border dies. Good for you, Gwen. You're going to love them. They're a lot of fun. So happy St. Patty's Day, everybody. Wear your green on Friday so you don't get pinched. Y'all take care now, and thanks again for your support and for joining me in the stamp room. Bye-bye.